Okay. For me, the impossible task to explain what I'm what I'm always doing, even when you don't know. Yeah, some people call it personology. You just need a term to describe many things. Yeah, and I just described it as all living beings, not only humans, express the energy within by their form, shape, and skin quality, and lots of more things. Yeah, this is all the elements I look at. I look at the total shape of a body, if it's long or short or round or elongated or anything, you know. I look at the face, but not only the face from the front, I look at the right and the left side as well, and also the back of the head. And I look at all the separate elements in the face, the nose, the ears, the mouth, the forehead, the cheekbones, the brows, whatever is there. I look at it and I know the meaning. I look at the skin quality and the colors. I think people are living, how do you say it? Living paintings, because they have lots of colors, but all the time the color is changing and their energy is changing. I also look at the skin quality, if it's fine skin or coarse skin, if it's red or white, and you know it can be different colors in different places, and it's changing all the time. I look at the shape of the skull, the hairs, tone of the voice, the breathing of a person, and of course the body language and the mimicry and the micro expression. So there's a lot to see, and that's why, I mean, I can tell about it, but to really learn how to do it, it takes a long time, like with everything, basically. This is something, yeah, I always like. The eyes are the windows of the soul, we know that. But the mouth is the sphincter of the soul. I had to look that word up. The sphincter is, you know, you have the thing at the end of your intestines as well. Do you know what a sphincter is? Okay. And the body is actually the glove of the soul. The soul is on the inside, but it's like the body is a sort of a glove. It's, yeah, on the outside of the soul. But I said that it's not only humans that express the energy in their forms. All the living creatures do it. And when you, for instance, look at a crocodile, they have a long shape, but the texture of their skin is, of course, very different from our skin. Their skin is strong and it's difficult to go through the skin. And like with the tree as well, when you look at the tree trunk, it's strong. And I always love those people who say, I hug a tree. And then, of course, everybody considers them to be mad, but they are not, because a tree has a lot of magnetic energy. So it really gives you power, but I will explain that later as well. So I'm fascinated by the forms and the colors of everything there is. And it's not only trees, because part of the tree is the trunk, but then you have all the branches and also the flowers of the tree, and they express a totally different energy. All the flowers are full of light energy. You need light to create life. It's one element that when we die, we say the light leaves the body. The light is gone out of the eyes. So light is a very something we all notice, but we don't know, we don't realize that we notice. And the flowers are delicate and soft, and they are full of light. And also the young leaves. So a tree expresses several energies at the same time. With humans, it's even more complex, but yeah, it's just something to remember. You have something that is strong, or you have something that is soft. You can easily go through it or not. And when you look at insects, yeah, compare a beetle to a butterfly. Um, the butterfly is all soft and light energy, and a beetle armored itself, protects itself by the harder outside, the harder exterior. But inside, of course, it's also soft. And you can compare that to a human being when you the skin on your how do you call it on your back is um, is much more how do you say it, compressed than the skin on the front. So you always protect yourself by making a little ball of yourself. And that is in fact what the beetle is doing as well. Um, you have the the soul shining out. So when you compare a deer to the tiger, they express completely different energy. The deer with this beautiful form with the big eyes, it's a prey, of course. But here you have an equally beautiful animal, but it's the hunter, and the tiger has much stronger lines. It has, like all hunter animals, it has a lot of broad lines, wide lines. Um, but you see it in animals as well. I often compare people to animals actually, and sometimes I see dinosaurs or because they are sort of similar often. So when we go back to the humans, the frontal face shows what was and also what is happening at the moment. The sides of the face are subconscious. We can have the mask on our face, like we always telling about, to put down your mask. But when you look at the sides of the face, of the head, um, you cannot, um, it's there, you cannot do anything about it, you cannot control it. That's why we are not comfortable when strangers are looking at us from the back or from the side. You notice it immediately, and we want to put the face to them because the face we can more or less control. So on the sides, you see the subconscious, the left side of the face, but also our completely left side shows private things, relationships, children, everything that is private in our inner circle. And the right side of the face and the right side of the body shows the other side, the outgoing side, the work side outside. And of course, the brains are crossed. So, I mean, the left side is directed more or less by the right brain, but that doesn't matter. It's just something to remember because when you look at a person from front, you get a completely different impression than when you look at him or her from the side. And the left and the right side can also be completely different. The left and the right part of the face as well. And the back of the head, like I said, is the most vulnerable. They are always saying you can feel eyes watching you, and that's scientifically proven that you have parts of the brain that are very sensitive to eyes that are watching us from behind. And you can just you can make nice experiments when you're in a crowd and you direct your attention to one person that's in front of you, and then you can just count down how much time it will take for the person to turn around. And because they feel someone is watching them, and it just takes a little time, and then they start looking, I'm feeling something, where is that person that is watching me? Of course, it's to protect us. You can also imagine a little person on the back of your head, upside down, so the feet are up here and the hands are down there. And that little tiny person is also showing the condition of your body. So you can really check the skull here. When you feel it, when soft touch, feeling is not pressing, but just sensitive really feeling, you can really check somebody's condition. You can check the lungs, the feet, the hands. It's fantastic when you know it. Um, from somebody's outside, you can deduce character, propensities, talents, all by looking at someone. And the face shows illness long, long, long before, sometimes years before you feel it in your body. You only notice that you are ill when about 70 to 80% is not working properly anymore. Only then we notice that we feel ill, but the face shows it long, long before. And I was talking about the shapes. Remember the trees or the crocodile? Long shapes, long shapes, if it's a long figure or a long face or a long ear or a long nose, it doesn't matter. All that is long is natural magnetism. And magnetism, you can measure that actually. So it's nothing woo. You can really measure the amount of magnetism someone has around himself. And that magnetism is it has a strong desire to express itself, to be a leader, to take the lead. And people with lots of magnetism can even let people in their close vicinity, let people do something they don't want to. When you look at people like the Ayatollah Khomeini or some, the in Persia, and the leader, the big leader, it doesn't matter. All sorts of leaders who have lots of magnetism can really let people do things they don't want to do because they are close to this magnetism. They are almost forced to do things, and then later when they are out of the reach of the magnetism of the person, they think, oh my God, why did I do it? I didn't even want to do it, but I just did. That's because of the magnetism. Everything that is wide, that goes sideways, is natural electricity. And electricity is completely different from magnetism. Magnetism forms a sort of a cage around us. It's always around the trees as well. But electricity has a short time span. It goes, like thunder and lightning. Lightning is electricity. It doesn't take hours to be there. It just goes out. And all the things that in our face and in our body that are more wide are formed by electricity, and that wants to change things. It is the energy of change. Magnetism is always there, but electricity wants to change the world. It also goes against grain. It can be an angry energy. When you are angry, the fine hairs on your head go like this. Not all your hair, of course, that's impossible. But the fine hairs go outside when you are angry. And I don't know if it's the same in your country, but our parents told us when you are angry, count to 10. And then normally the anger is gone. And it's true because electricity isn't there for such a long time. So when you count to 10, then you think, oh, why was I angry? Because it just left you. And you can notice the energy by children. They have, how do you call it? Protruding ears, say. The ears that are very wide, and the parents always want to have the children, and they want to have them have an operation because then the ears go normal again. But I think it's a pity. I always explain to those children, you should be proud of those ears because those ears help you to change the world, to use a lot of fantasy. And your ears are your strength. So even when they operate the ears and when the energy stays with the child, the ears tend to go back to the outside. So it's funny. Well, everything that is round wants to cooperate. It's friendly energy. It's fond of physical things. Everything that is angular can be difficult. It can be aggressive. It shows a stronger body. You see lots of sporters with those um, angular lines. Well, you have a tight skin, it's more armor. A loose skin is softer. Well, I can go on for hours, but I mean, just look at some faces. When you compare a baby skin, everything about a baby is soft. It's new skin. There is so much light in the eyes of a baby. It's just formed by light. It's new life. And then when we grow older, we look different. We have all those lines. And I hate people that just are ashamed of all the wrinkles in their face because it shows that life wasn't always kind. It shows all the suffering they did. And I think you should be proud of those lines because we are all humans. And when I explain the lines to people, then they start to think differently about themselves because you cannot go through life and look like this baby when you're 80. I mean, something is wrong because apparently you sometimes notice it in monks that live a very secluded life and are sort of not in life but on the outside looking at life. Sometimes their faces can be very, yeah, baby-like even when they're older. It's yeah, it's funny. And you have all those different shapes. Angular, this is angular, this is angular, the jawline and the chin. It says a lot of how this person will act. The angular shape tells that he will easily use his body and perhaps he can kick you. But it's not one thing. This is one thing I look at, but I always have to check all the other things. I have to check his eyes, his nose, his mouth, the complete shape, what type of person he is. And only when everything about a person says, okay, aggression, negative energy, blah, 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 then I draw the conclusion, okay, be careful with this person. But just because he has a beautiful jawline doesn't mean that he is going to kick me in the face. He doesn't because he has a nice face, he has a friendly mouth, he has soft eyes, so he won't. And you can really check this in a few seconds when you are used to it. His eyes are open, his eyes are completely different from his eyes. He has more introvert eyes. He's more back in his face, the eyes. His eyes are wider apart. These eyes are nearer. So the eyes show the way you look at the world. Wide eyes say we want to know lots of things. We have a broad energy. And he says, no, I want to specialize. He's more extrovert. He's more introvert. His mouth shows what he is saying. He will say it with care. He won't be rude when he's talking, and his soft eyes are telling me the same. He's not talking as much because he's much more introvert, and his mouth here, where he put his mustache, says I had to use a lot of how do you call it when a soldier, you always soldiers look like this. You have to use, how do you call that? I don't even know it in Dutch anymore. It took him a lot of trouble to take care of himself. He had, so he his mustache is only hiding the energy that's behind it. He also has a mustache, but it's completely different mustache. And this is soft. His upper lip has the same shape he had as a baby. So yeah, it's just different. All the people are different. And then I look at the noses. For instance, he's a man with a nose that shows he lacks magnetism from the side. This is his right side. So in his work, he will lack magnetism. I can't see the front of his face because perhaps he has a mask that helps him. But when a man lacks magnetism, it's difficult to be a leader or a boss. I have helped lots of um, men in business, especially men, and when they're small and they have the wrong outer shape, then people just don't accept them as their boss or their leader. And there are lots of things they can do about it through body language and, the way they think about themselves. Um, Here you have a nice young jawline still, because when you get older, you notice that it won't be as smooth and as strong anymore. But that's because life costs you so much energy. It doesn't just pass you by. You have to defend yourself. You have to go through different things, and they all leave their mark on you. And when I talked about I look at the skull and the shape of the face. Um, I won't explain it all, but you see how many different possibilities you have. And it's the same in all the races. Of course, you have racial marks, but within these um, um, marks, you have lots of different, different. For instance, when darker people often have broad noses, we say, as whiteys. But there are so many different nose shapes, also with dark people. So you see the same differences we show. It doesn't matter, or if it's Indian, or it doesn't matter. It goes for every one of us. Here you and of course it's not only the shapes, but when you talk with someone, they change their posture. They make all sorts of movements. You can see if someone who is entering your room just had a fight with his spouse. You notice it by the energy, but you also see it on the face, because on the cheekbones, when you have a fight with someone, it depends. If it's left, it's your partner. If it's right, probably it's your work. But when someone attacks you at work and it's a personal attack, they say something about you as a person, not from your work, then the left cheekbone will just change color. And when you talk with someone and you say something that personally affects this person, he or she will just shortly touch below the nose here. Just shortly, just little while. And sometimes you don't understand what you said, because of course, you don't know what people experience in their life. You are just talking about something general, and then suddenly you see them touch here. Oh, they experienced something to do with what I'm saying now that really affects them at that moment. Sometimes when people are talking about their husband or wife, they also shortly touch here because it's close to home. It's so fascinating. Um, Here with her, I noticed that she has strong cheekbones, broad cheekbones, and that means that she can really cope very well with difficulties, but she can also make difficulties just for the sake of coping with them later. So it's not always easy, such a person. And here you see this jaw with a little hole. I don't know if you say hole. You see this part? That means it's really Chinese face reading. I did that a little bit as well, and they say it's a bad luck spot. They tend to have bad luck a lot in their lives. Here you see that we have the left and the right side. But when you mirror the left side, so you see two left and two right sides, you get a very strange face. And you see that? You can recognize the eye is the right eye. and the left eye is a little bit rounder. So you see what happens when you mirror 2 times right and 2 times left, you get a completely different person. And it's strange. It looks like her, but even at the same time, it doesn't. Here you can see it very well. This is really a sort of elf face. Notice that? It's just 2 sides of the face are never the same. And the more they are the same, the more beautiful we consider someone to be. Beautiful, not interesting. I think that people are more interesting when they are not just beautiful, but they show something of character in their face. We have a fondness of looking at the left side of the face. So the left side you see on the right, that's the left side. We look at the left side of the face more because it gives us more information, because it's the private side of someone. And we always look to protect ourselves. And we first look at the eyes on the left side of the face, then we check the mouth, and after that the nose. We also use it for facial recognition. And you just do it. You don't even know you are doing it. Yeah, you see how is the fellow called Simon Cowell? I mean, it's a well-known person. This is him. This is double left and double right. It's still Simon Cowell, but strange. And here as well, double right, double left, and the way he is, it's yeah. You never notice probably that you look more to the left side of someone's face. And here we have what's he called? The actor, the ex of Angelina Jolie. What's he called? Help me.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I always loved Brad Pitt. I mean, he was a beautiful guy. So this is Brad original, double left and double right. Weird, huh? Double left is usually more friendly. Double right is a little bit less friendly, because the left side is your private side. Eyes. I mean, I won't bore you because it's my passion and not yours. I realize that completely. But eyes, the windows of the soul, they can be strange. They are not the same. Left and right eyes can be completely different. You notice it here, but you can just go to the street and most people don't have the same eyes. Protruding eyes, of course, it can be that it is an illness, but it can also be the talent of using words. Lots of people, when you look at a writer, he has a talent of writing. But when you look at his eyes, you know if he can read his own book and you will still like it or not. Some writers, they read their books and you just bore to death. You can just know it from their eyes. And here, this place here, the temporal bone here, when it's not flat, but there's a lot of, it's more or less, how do you say it, round. It means that people can straight away make a joke or react to a situation. And if it's not so round, but more, to the inside, then they will just stand there and don't know what they can say. And later on, they think, oh, shit, I should have said this or that. When you go to the market, you have those people that are selling, and they always have funny jokes, and they can react immediately to all what is happening. You know what I mean? They have, when someone asks them something, they have a great answer, and well, they have lots of mass here. We look at the ears. Ears are funny because the ears you get when you are born, and the ears don't change their shape. They only grow bigger. So when I look at the ears of babies, I always explain to the parents The ears is what they had as a present, like in the fairy tale, you have the fairies and they visit the mother and the father and they say, I give this baby the gift of, and then, they give the gifts. Well, the gifts are the ears. And ears, the outside of the ears tells me if you are easily influenced by the outer world. And here you can see someone's thinking. In the middle, you can see someone's communication. And here you can have all the physical reserve someone is having. And if you have an earlobe that is very big, like the Buddha, it means you love eating, you love drinking, you love sex, you love all the things that Mother Earth gave us. So there's more. Here you can see if someone is very picky in what he or she wants to know about things, or that they have followed 150 courses in the last half year. So there are lots of things. Only the ears, the noses. I can talk. I can talk 3 hours about noses only. It's fascinating what you can see in the nose. The bone is magnetic, of course, and what all the women are doing plastical surgery. It's killing me. They want to have baby faces. They want to have big mouths, small noses, big eyes. They just want to look like babies, fertile. It's nothing else. But this tells me he wants to do things on earth. He has a lot of, wishes to express himself. Yeah. Am I taking too long, Stefan? I don't. Yeah, I am actually. Okay, I
You go
will.
on.
A small nose bone means that someone is easily nervous. The smaller it is, the faster someone is nervous. When you have a straight nose, it's someone who can put order in his work. I also use this for job applicants. It was fantastic. Um, they can write anything in their letter, but then I had a talk with them, and then I looked at them and I knew, okay, this is someone who just is a chaotic person, and they can write in their letter, yeah, I'm very orderly. No, they are not, So you can use it for anything. Mouth, same. I said it's a sphincter of the soul because you can see what life did to them. And women all want to have the baby mouth with the big lips. Okay, it's nice, but it's not possible. And fine, fine, finely shaped mouths normally are people with it who are more delicate and fine in their expression, and who cannot put everything in their mouths because their stomach won't take it in. So it tells so many things. And when you talk with someone, you have these micro expressions lots of times around the mouth, because when you say something that makes someone sad or angry, you cannot control the muscles around your mouth. So you immediately see a little expression. I will just go through this because it's too much. I look at the body language. We have all the typology in the body language, and it's always changing. Here are expressions. I hate politicians, but they are very interesting to watch because they're always lying anyway. And I prefer to see their feet, because you can control the mask here. You can control the hands, because their marketing people teach them that they should, do the hands like this, but they forget their feet. So I have been watching all those tribunals with the war criminals and everything, because they forget their feet, and you can just see they're lying. So, and here as well, this is just there on his mouth for a short time. This is a feeling he's showing. It's feeling from inside, and he cannot control it, but it's there only for a short while. And you had the movie Lie to Me. I don't know if you saw it on television, but it was based on these micro expressions. And I have many books on all the subjects. And yeah, it's just fantastic how we show anger and happiness and sadness with all the muscles around the eyes and the mouth. And when we are lying or when we are not ourselves, it doesn't have to be lying. When you ask someone, how are you doing? And they say, yeah, right, yeah, okay. And they make their mouth laugh, but the eyes don't join the mouth, and it's there for too long because no one in his right mind will say, "Oh, all right," and then turn around and just walk like this. You just say, "Oh, okay, thank you," and then it's normal again. So the longer people let their mouths be like this, the more I know, wow, bullshit. They're not telling the truth. So we're all living beings with our special experiences. And I think you shouldn't judge people by their cover. Perhaps when you read the cover a little bit, okay. And respect everybody's story. Life isn't easy. And you can see it by the energy we express. So it was just a little bit. But actually, my question was how to integrate, or if it's possible, to sort of integrate it with Brian's teachings. I don't know. I mean, it's all energy. It's all. Perhaps I doesn't have to be. I don't know. Anyone having any thoughts?
I think it's valuable because it's when we're reaching out with a message, having that. In a way, what Brian's teaching, it's about the journey from self to self, but how we communicate, how we look at each other. Everything is different views on the inside of ours, and the little apparatus, the data machine inside our brains, it's so complicated that all we're teaching are simplified views of what's inside the skull of us, so
Yeah.
the soul of us. So every insight, it's good to have more perspectives, more tools in the toolbox. So I really appreciate this because I haven't thought of it in that way. And I think that's really good. And sometimes I think a lot of what we teach as well, we are unconsciously aware of, and we need to bring it forward to do conscious things, and to be aware more of these things are also valuable, in my opinion. So everything that can enhance us as being a little bit more self-aware and aware of what's around us is good. So if you think you should include it in one of the TPs, do it, because it's, for me, it's one way of enhancing the core message of goal mapping or the life mapping technologies or techniques. So.
And of course, we go. Life is a journey. That's what we always conclude, and you can just see the journey on someone. And we are also talking about not wanting to put down a mask. For me, it's almost impossible to see someone. You know, when I can't see someone, when I can't, for me, it's a total gray. That is when someone is depressed. Then I feel it immediately, I notice it immediately, and you don't see colors, you don't see movement, and you feel that someone is in a depression. And another thing that's very weird, I've analyzed many people in this way, also for audiences. Then you have to be very fast and very subtle in what you are telling, because you are having two conversations actually with the audience and with the person, and you are telling different things because the audience doesn't have to know everything. But when I analyzed people, sometimes I just was completely mixed up. I thought, I don't understand this. What am I doing? Am I doing it wrong? And then I asked them, did you have a near-death experience? And then they said yes. And then when you just put your hands just above the head, not touching, it's cooler there. You feel it. And then the energy doesn't match their forms anymore. It's very weird. But well, okay. I will just thank you for listening to me. Blah 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 blah. Oh.
This was very interesting, and actually what you said about people being depressed.
Yeah.
I was told, and what I've seen, this seemed to be right, that children who are traumatized, they don't smile,
No, it's true.
and that you can see in areas with wars going on.
Yes.
People, they might play, they might do things, but they don't smile.
No, that's true. They are very old already, even though they're only children. That's true. I also work with the traumatized women. They suffer from, domestic abuse and war things. And of course, it's different because they wear the mask and the children don't. But it was very, it made me very happy to explain to them why they should never be ashamed of any wrinkle or any change in their face, because they should be proud that they are still here, even though they suffered all this abuse. And, people just, those women didn't realize how strong they were. So sometimes it helps when you explain a person to him or herself. We are all born and we don't have the, what is it, when you buy something, you have the a booklet with it.
Guarantee.
And how it works.
Yeah.
But we don't get it. We just are born and we get no booklet how we work. And it helps. It helps when you just, understand yourself more, so you understand other people more, I think. Yeah.
This is actually when you talked about how to combine it with Brian's teachings. This is something I'm sure all of us use as coaches, because when you coach somebody to make their goal map, you have to look at them and listen to them to see when it's genuine, when it's deep enough. You can, like Brian always have people to read out loud what they have written, and he says he hears it immediately if it's true or not. And but I tend to use both my vision as and my ears, because you can also see when they feel tense and when they actually realize something, when they relax and now it's right. And that's very important news or information for us.
Yeah, I
use the right wordings.
I also taught these things to students that did medical. Oh my God. Medical things, you have the anatomy and you have those things. Well, I was also teaching them this because it helps you so much. I didn't even talk about the different types of people, that we have the long shaped people. They are different. You can approach them in a different way, and you have the very sensitive types. When you are very, you feel everything around you. You tend not to like to sit in a big crowd and to have much attention on your person. So when I notice that someone is like that, I will immediately approach him or her in a different way. And it's just, it's true what you are saying. When you are a coach or when you are a doctor or whatever, it helps. It helps you when you understand more about people. That there is not one way to treat all. So we are very complex, but it's nice.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for listening.
It was so interesting because, as Liselot said, as coaches, this is even more important than when we are having a workshop or something. But you can also sense these things without looking.
Yeah.
Even then, it's even more about energy and what is like going on inside the
But you
customer.
know, that's completely true. And I noticed that when you are doing this for a long time, when you are learning about the shapes and things and looking, when you do it for a long time, then you get a level deeper, and then it only heightens the senses. It deepens it in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah. So sometimes you feel like you have a crystal ball, uh, which you don't, but you can really take it out of someone's brain. It's weird to say because it doesn't happen from sitting on your behind and waiting for it to come. You have to study and to do and to watch and to learn, and then suddenly it goes a level deeper, and then you get exactly what you are saying. Yeah.
yeah, and you can ask, do you really mean that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, because
I-
normally they don't.
or is that really true?
Yeah.
Uh,
And you
Actually, it isn't, because it's so funny when people are then starting to explain why they are saying those
yeah,
things.
that's true. And you can, from the shape, you can sometimes really um, conclude what people are having trouble with.
Yeah,
Like I said, the small men in a leadership position, they have problems because people don't accept their leadership. But then you have small people with long faces like I have. I'm just fooling everybody because I'm only 164, but I have a long face. And when I'm sitting down, people don't know that I'm just a small person. It helps as well. I didn't do it to fool someone. I mean, nature does this lots of the time. And it's just funny. All those different things. Well, yeah, it's just the soul um, expressing itself. Yeah,
Also think it's quite interesting when you talked about that long smile. It's like if I'm replying to an email and I have a little guilty conscience in a way, I tend to have a lot of excuses and make a long answer. And that's a really good tell that someone has a bad conscience or something. So
yeah,
it's countless of mails that have just discovered myself making excuses, or where I really don't have excuses to make, but I was editing away and giving a straight answer instead,
yeah,
because it's about being aware of oneself and playing one's cards to the best effect in a way for the purpose you have.
yeah, that's true. Oh, there are so many more things I could tell you. I won't, but I mean, there are so many more things. It's so interesting. Yeah. And I'm doing it all the time. But I always ask permission when I really zoom into someone because I don't do that without permission.
Yeah, but all the worry within a journey for, especially for the new people, it's about being more self-aware and really being able to have a little bit longer fuse and to really see oneself from the outside a little bit. And I think this helps as well. It's
Yeah,
being aware both of oneself and about what we have around us.
yeah, that's true.
I would say that we look at ourselves selves from the outside inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 that's true. Well, I hope I
Okay.
didn't take much of your time, Stefan.
Perhaps you
Thank you.
should have every Monday a series of, of these talks, because this is very fascinating and interesting.
Yeah. I was even thinking of if I should do another workshop on it. I did it, but then I didn't do it anymore. But it's interesting. If I can help people,
That would, I'm sure that would help many people, because I think it's very important that we like read our customers. Is it visually, or what they say, what they like express with their faces, or somebody is like only only reading the energy, and everything is good as long as we are like helping our customers to get a like better future.
That's true. And sometimes when you read the energy, but you don't have the right door to communicate it to someone, then he or she won't accept it.
Yeah.
And when you understand, okay, I feel it, you do that immediately. I know, but then you have to communicate it to the person. And everyone has a certain way you like to be approached. And it's not the same for everyone. And when you have this door, then it's easier to bring your message across, I think. Yeah, I know it works like that.
And actually, it can be one day that you want to be approached in one way. The next day, when things has happened in your life, you might be you want to be approached in another way.
But you will immediately express that wish
Yeah,
because you will change your face, your posture, you do something with your hand, you sit like this, or you know, your
yeah.
jaw start to, and then yeah, we all know that, but we don't realize that we know it.
Or somebody might see the customer in colors,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like this is a blue day, this is a
Yeah,
yellow day, or this is a really red day.
yeah, that's true. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. It's all doors to the same person.
yeah.
It's yeah, that's true. Okay, I will do something with it.
Okay, shall we jump to the second subject for
Yes.
this evening? Are you aware that there have been a lot of changes into the Zoom platform with you can have apps and stuff into the platform? So you can have like Mentimeter and such
The what?
plugged into
What
it's,
meter?
it's like doing polls, doing
Oh,
votes. So
oh
it's
yeah.
more integrated into the system now, and there are a lot of other outside applications that you can really use, and you have to enable it on the settings, but there are quite a number of things that have changed and been to the better. And also with the breakout rooms, you can now create a number of rooms and let people choose the rooms.
Oh, okay.
So there
I
are
didn't know.
yeah, but
But,
there's quite some.
but is that breakout rooms? It that only in the paid version?
No, I think it should be in the free version as well, but still in the free version you're limited to 40 minutes if you're more than two participants. So it's quite useless in a way anyway.
All right. And but I think it's also depending on what level, so to speak, the person is who has started the program. Because now I see more things in the Zoom than I saw. Was it on Thursday or Wednesday last week when I had a meeting with people outside the Go mapping?
Yeah, there are quite some new, but if I just added a few rooms, I could say open rooms, and I don't see how it looks on your screen, but I think you should be able to choose different rooms now. And there's a broadcast functionality to bring people back. And
I was suddenly in the breakout room and I didn't hear you talk anymore. A little bit stupid.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
See if 27 seconds till all the breakout rooms close.
Yeah. What you mean, like with the TPs or something? We could use.
Or
Yeah.
like we did in the Remo with Katrina and with
Yeah. Gil.
Gil. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think Brian will use that system of Katrina and Gil, or will he?
I don't know, but still it's fascinating because Zoom does a lot. So I have a very large toolbox in this bottom of the screen now. And also I would like to test one other thing, which is I can go when I do my screen sharing, I can do a virtual background now, which is my PowerPoint.
Even in a screen share.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have to select my. I thought it would pick up my prepared, but I have to open it, my prepared.
But is the breakout you can see the share screen and record and breakout rooms, will it always be there from now on?
It's like a commercial decision. I think that will depend upon things. Now I can't see how it looks from your side, but here I am at the bottom of the screen.
Oh yeah. It's like an advertisement on television. Are you going to sell us something?
No, I was just about to explain a little about on the internet. When we talk about things, we have like goalmapping.com, which is a domain. We can have a subdomain, which is when we add something in between. It could be mail.goalmapping.com. It could be file transfer protocol, FTP dot. So actually everything that's in front of the first dot, that's a separate system or can be a separate system. But usually when we have web pages, the triple W and the one without the triple W, they are pointing to the same thing. But it's a good thing to be aware that when you have that sort of prefix to a website, it's actually different systems.
Sometimes, for example, shop.goalmapping.com or whatever.
Yes, but it's also what Brian uses when he does his things as well. So when we're on this system, it's the pure. I hope you see my pointer.
Yeah.
And I think there's some way to make it a laser beam as well when I'm doing this, but I haven't practiced that one. So goalmapping.com is one system. And if we go to the online system, then it's a different system because it's a different prefix, and that has some bearings on how we look when we're doing this affiliate login. So when we're on the affiliate dashboard here, what we do here, it just affects what we do on this domain without the online in front of it. So this is if we want to refer someone to have a class, join the way within to join a practitioner class or whatever of the classes that Brian announces, then we can use this one. And it's a little confusing because there are two systems that we need to use. And this one is, again, just to promote and get the affiliate links working for the main goal mapping sort of advertisement site. And if we want to use the online system, we have to use the other system. And this is what it looks like when we're there. So this is taken from a blank page. I've edited it. So it's for the main page. And it's quite interesting when we want to add something, like we want to promote another part, when we can copy the link here and we can use the generate link to point to this site. I thought I had an example on it, but not. But we can generate the link, and what that will generate is something like a / and ID equals and a number. What we need to be aware of is that everything after the question mark in that link, that's just a parameter that's passed to the system. And if someone edited that away, our affiliate is lost. So that's also why I always, when doing links, I do a bit.ly link, and I will talk about that a little later on, because there we have a link that contains the actual thing that can't be edited to take away the affiliate stuff for us.
I know you can do the bit.ly link, but I never used it before, but perhaps it's not difficult.
No, it's really easy. But I generate my links here to get the affiliates, and I copy those into the bit.ly, and I'll show you in a little while.
Yeah, you of course you make this initial link, but then you go to bit.ly and bit.ly changes it so people can't edit anymore.
Yeah, it's sort of a double redirect.
Yeah.
It's 2 layers of affiliate links in a way.
Yeah.
Then of course in the online system we have our affiliate links here, and now we have that online in front of it, which says it's a completely different system. And Brian, he has academy.goalmapping.com as well, even though he's taking that away now. But yeah, it's again pointing to a different part of the website or a different system. The funny thing here is I use exactly the same. I can use this one and I can use this one. I tend to use the full URL because it's more personal. This one I tend to use, but I've decoded or coded both with the bit.ly. But you can also use this one. And
I don't see your pointer, or do you?
I'm on the manage links that's down under the full URL. Let's see if I can get the pointer to work.
Oh, manage reference labels, you mean? Or? You have to...
somewhere I should be able to have a pointer that's like a lazy bit, but manage reference labels, there's a little button.
Yeah.
And under that one, you can again customize your own link to use it as references for, if I use it, if it's from a link I've used on LinkedIn, or if it's used on Facebook, or if it's a direct link that I've mailed out somewhere, just to capture from where I've had it. And it was that system that I think if we do sometime do a shared team that we use for language or for purpose, or in a way, that subsystem could be used to differentiate in between different of us using that team or that portal into the system.
Okay.
And this is actually what I'm doing now. This is one of the teams I'm about to create, which is goal mapping in Swedish. And I use that as a landing page instead of that initial landing page, because then it's, if I use that /Stefan Andreasson, it lands on a page that's actually Brian talking about the systems. I want to have a landing page, this one for you, essentially in Swedish, me talking about the same like Brian does, but in Swedish and focusing on me. And then I can direct people out on the main site. I would
Yeah.
probably do some in English as well, because it's about building that relationships with me as well, and building that confidence that we sort of, you touched on, Margot. So that's one way of me trying to do a little bit more about directing people to me. And if I go to the, stop sharing this. And if I share this screen instead. I couldn't resist when you talked about ears. Do you get all my Ferengi friends? Ah, it's frozen. That's, just waiting it for the video to catch up, setting things up. It's quite funny. Sound seems to get through, but everything else is frozen for me now.
Yeah, we see you frozen, but we hear you. Okay. Fun.
I can see Stefan moving, but the screen sharing doesn't.
Oh, but you can
work
see
yet.
moving. You can see
Yeah.
more than I. Oh, now.
Frozen.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, that's true.
That's about. Okay, back. It all froze up.
Yeah.
You said you had a video. Is there a difference how well Zoom or Teams or these things are showing if you have the video on your own computer compared to, for example, YouTube?
I don't think so, but if you want to have the sound from a video that you're playing, you need to enable it before the meeting or during a meeting that says that you want to bring the sound from the what you're playing on screen. Else it will always just catch up on the mic, and that will be a poor sound quality. So you really have to say, is this setting that says something about bringing computer audio into Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a less complex. Screen share. I was talking about Bitly a little. Which for me looks like this. So I don't know if the screen share has come up for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually what I'm doing here is you can see I've created for me a link that is called Bitly, and Warrior Within Masterclass is my acronym for it. But the actual link that it's pointing to is this one with the question mark reference equals 25, which is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and also since I get all these statistics, I find it quite useful to use Bitly to get more of a control than I have within the system, just in the online system.
And is it paid Bitly or is it free?
This is free.
Okay.
There are ways that things you can for more statistics and such if you pay, but this is the free level. And also I really like that I can do links that have some meaning into them instead of just something. So just this pointing to my coach page,
Mhm.
Stefan Andreasson.
Yeah.
Inspiration, it's the master classes that Brian has. So I have created my links, and since he does not really change from time to time, it's quite useful for me.
Mhm. And oh yeah, of course, and so you can make a link to your landing page you are now creating for your, because
Yeah,
that's
I
what
could
I
do
want to
so.
do.
If I have online.goalmapping.com/svenska Swedish, then I would make a bit link for that as well. And I would make a really simple team area, just really mapping what Brian has on his registration page.
Mhm, mhm.
And last action to do is directing people out to the main site again. So if I'm in the system, I think if we go to the area, you can see all or some of the work. So I'm preparing one which is goal mapping in Swedish, life mapping in Swedish. I'm preparing one for one of the school where I'm a part of the steering committee. So I'm creating an area for them as well. And I will probably do one for Forever Living in Swedish here as well. And then at the end of that, just directing them out to the large English speaking Forever Living site.
Yeah.
But here I can explain some, because I think the online system has so many features and things, it's almost a little too complex to navigate when you're new to it. So you sort of I think there is a little introduction needed.
Mhm.
And that's what I will do with different focuses. And again, as with marketing, I think it's important that we make use of what's our USPs, unique selling points, to get through.
And do you also want to Swedish people to be able to go from the bronze to the silver and the gold level, like Brian also has?
Yeah, I will do, because if I do something for a life mapping, I need for them to go to the silver level, or else they won't see it.
Yeah.
On the Swedish one, I think I will just have bronze and do nothing else. But if they then go into the main site and start experiencing things, I have already connected them to me. So if they upgrade, it's related to me anyway.
Yeah, I see.
And I've been thinking a lot about that, how, where, and when to really show all the bronze, silver, and gold options.
Yeah.
But for landing pages, they might be good. If I'm doing team areas where for special purposes, like for the school, I think that will be on bronze level, most of it as an introduction. Then, of course, to some of the more eager students that show more interest, I might have a little challenge for them to earn a silver code.
Oh yeah, that's nice. And it's not possible yet to make a video on your profile page, because that will be quite useful, I think.
No, not from what I've seen. So I saw there are a new option about a questionnaire prepared in the Teams area, but that looks like it's just a placeholder, because it's just the video link that you can paste into it at the moment.
Yeah.
And I also saw that you can have more than one coach or in a team area now.
You can have more than one coach?
If I go into this goal mapping in Swedish, you can set more than one coach.
Oh yeah.
Which is something new.
Speaking of which, have you set yourself as a coach in the TPs?
Not at the moment. I'm the TP owner, I think. I haven't done anything else. For the TPs, I will await what Brian says that we shall do. I was thinking about setting everyone else, like I've been adding every TP elder into the Violet TP every week after resets. I thought first that it might be a good thing to set all of the TP elders as coaches in each TP, but that is not really right either. So I think for the TPs, I'll await what Brian says that we shall do for it.
Yeah.
I thought about it and like I think there might be someone who want to have some special coaching on our own content and so I thought of it, but I put myself as a coach in the yellow TP for time being, but it isn't.
I would agree. I think it makes sense that we set ourselves as coaches in our respective TPs.
Yeah,
so I totally agree with you. That makes sense, but I think it would be wrong if we set everyone else, all the elders as coaches in all the TPs.
Yeah.
Because I think we should be members of all the TPs by default. If you're an elder, then you should be a member of each TP.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Yeah. So that you don't have to redo it every week. Copy and pasting all the names in.
really, I wanted to visit all the TPs and be also do a little writing about it on the Facebook page just to show activity and encourage others to go visit the TPs. But sometimes when you can't access it, it's
But it's funny because there are people that I have invited to the TPs in the beginning of the last Warrior Within that still are members of my TP, but I can't get you to stay as like members all the time. Your names are like deleted
Disappearing.
every week, but there are some names that still are there from the last Warrior Within.
Oh, okay.
okay. I haven't
Funny.
experienced that, but
No, with me
I
they
think
disappear.
that's true for me as well, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there were some names, but not you.
No, we keep disappearing all the time.
You're too spiritual.
Because you can't be too old.
You can't be grounded enough.
yeah, I haven't experienced that because I think everyone has changed mostly, but sometimes, of course, it's a coincidence that some names stay. And I don't know if they really built that logic into it, that if you have been into one TP, you shouldn't be invited to it again during the run of the Warrior Within.
Yeah.
So they make sure everyone is visiting all the TPs.
Because the TPs wasn't actually running, but
No.
I think I was among the first that had content in my TP. So I used to invite my buddy to the TP every week, and those names are like still being in my name list.
Okay. I have to try that one.
Yeah.
Invite the buddy and maybe they will stay.
We have to be detectives. Okay.
Okay, but it's some of my thoughts about the marketing and to use the team areas as landing pages, not just as team pages, but use them actively as landing pages to make ourselves a little bit more visible than just pointing to the first to the coach pages, but then when registration appears, it's really
Yes.
Brian that's there all the
Yeah.
time. And I think if we are to support his efforts with taking focus out of him to that next layer of people in goal mapping, we need to spread the focus.
Yeah, that's true. I
And
agree.
we in our turn really need to spread it, so we sort of spread the legacy in a way.
Yeah, that's true. I will try it out as well.
And I also don't know if there are duplicate checks in the system, so we are able to use the same names for different teams. I think there might be a lack in the system, so I think we can create the same part that's an actual link to the team areas.
Could you repeat that? Because
It's like for if I go to my this one again.
mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if this part is actually checked for duplicates in the system, or if someone else can create exactly the same sub-page.
Oh, yeah, that's what you mean.
Like or do you mean like the team name, like goal mapping på svenska?
Yes, no, but so I need this link to be unique.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that system really dupe checks. I think it's possible to create more than one team with the same name.
Oh,
I will check that out and talk with Vicky,
because that can be a problem otherwise if you use the language as the only.
Yeah.
Because there are some others as well who might want want to make something like in svenska, på svenska.
It's like if /forever or
yeah,
that as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
So I think we have to be
But
I will check it out and try it out, see what works.
Perhaps I can make an online goalmapping.com Svenska. Just to tease you and to see what happens. Because it should say it's already in use.
Yeah, it should, but I'm not sure if they have done it. And I think I've tried it with forever as a page. But they might have changed it. I will check it out.
Okay. Otherwise, I could make a Svenska. Oh my God.
Hijack it.
Yeah. So I'll check it out if Dutch is taken.
I have nothing to do all day, so I can just tease you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's a good thing to see it. And in a way, I think like when Brian does some promotions for things and we use our affiliate links, sometimes it would be good to say, if I'm doing a posting about goal mapping, saying if you want to contact someone in Swedish, contact me, you can talk to me. But I think it would be good if we could promote each other also and the unique selling points we have. So if talking Finnish or talking Dutch, we could mention each other as well to say this would be good because together we build ourselves stronger as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, lots of things to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is so much to do and
so little time.
so little time. Yes.
There is. But I think I really love listening to you, Margot. It's given me a lot of new thoughts and insights. And again, as we talked about, that interaction with people, the more we can avoid missing out on each other in the first contact. It's like with the disc that I use a lot. It's about
Yeah.
making a good meeting in the first, and then we're more complex, and then we can expand. But if we
Yeah.
make that gut feeling really good, so we really meet, then we're good, especially as coaches, as you said, Liselott. When we can connect in the beginning and open up, because it's so close to heart when what we're talking about with all the mapping systems. So having that confidence in us and building that confidence and trust, it's so important.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Actually, I think it's quite interesting how much we can read also through Zoom or Teams.
Yes.
From the other people, because first I thought it would be quite difficult to coach someone that you haven't met in person over these over computer, but I think it's quite easy to read what kind of person the other is.
Yeah.
It actually helps you to focus more. Of course, you can't see the feet, and usually you don't see the pants. Either. Okay, we can see Stefan's feet.
That's not the same, Stefan.
But we have to put all our effort and focus on the face, and it actually helps because you're not that distracted.
Yeah. And I think you you listen better.
Yes.
So you deduce more from the voice, even more than you do so normally.
I was just saying, and the voice is so
revealing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
People can't like think of how much they are talking between the lines.
Yes.
There are like it's so interesting and it's so funny.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, and breathing as well.
Yeah.
With good microphones, you can exactly hear when they're breathing and in and out, and when they're sighing. That's usually a very important sign for me. When then I know, okay, now it's good.
Something is happening. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still see lots of things.
And when they have fallen asleep. when they are so relaxed, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like when you go blind, immediately your brain starts to form new neurons, so your touch and everything gets stronger. But it must be the same for us when when we are using Zoom now. I'm sure our brains are adapting already, so it doesn't matter. Still, I would love to see you all in person. That's another thing. So I can see your
So
feet.
you can see our side and back as well.
Yeah, but that's also why I set a little video in the Violet TP about neuroplasticity and about the brain.
Yeah.
And that study with the cab drivers in London that have to memorize each and every address, and they can really see the effects on the brain.
Yes.
Parts of the brain being enlarged. And same with blind people, they have. I'm amazed with people reading Braille.
Yeah.
Because I don't have that good feeling with my tips. I haven't trained it, but I'm sure if I lost my sight, I would enhance my control of the nerve endings in my fingertips.
Oh, yes. Or just when you have to do it, because when I learned to feel skulls, in the beginning, I only felt my own fingers because you press too hard, but you only have to do it very softly, and then it changes. But it's something you have to develop, really, because you are not used to it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Still, I think hopefully you found this evening a little useful. I certainly have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will do Bitly, and I will try to to improve my links. And I never thought of making one for LinkedIn or for Facebook. I didn't really. Yeah, it's of course it gives you many insights where people react from. I could have thought of it myself, but I didn't. So I'm
You
happy
can do
you
that
did.
with Bitly and have one Bitly link for Facebook and one, but you can also do it within the system of.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things that we can use.
Yeah.
But still, now let's stop talking about it and get to doing things instead.
Yes.
Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
We have to
You
make
too.
those videos first.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Sleep well.
Yes.